this matchup has soured a little bit because, as the Bears fans probably refer to him as, Papa Rodgers is likely not playing in this game because he hurt his wrist, which, as it soured for me as an outside spectator, Bears fans are probably ecstatic he's not playing, though they won't say it because Aaron Rodgers legitimately has owned the Bears his whole career, and now you get to face Mason Rudolph instead, most likely. Yeah, that's very much the deal I would take if I was a Bears fan. With that being said, the Bears are favored by 2.5 at home. Y'all's thoughts on this game?
Well, Aaron Rodgers is trying to play. He really is trying to play. But that being said, the spread is still 2.5, assuming Mason Rudolph starts in this game. And that kind of tells you how much Vegas feels about Pittsburgh and the way their defense has been playing in recent weeks and the lack of trust they have in Chicago and the Bears. I'll go
As
tell
they
you
should.
straight up right now, I think, and the Pyramid thinks that spread is too low. The Pyramid has the spread at -4.5. In terms of Chicago, it's a critical game for Chicago because blink and you'll miss it, but Chicago leads the NFC North right now. I don't think we would have felt that a couple weeks ago.
You would have, right? You picked them to win it.
I did not pick them to win it, but I did pick them to make the playoffs.
That's
I
what
picked Green Bay to win it. And it is funny how the tables have turned, but once again, the Commanders-Bears game has changed everything. Since that game, Chicago is 4-1. They lost their first two divisional games to start the year against the Vikings and against the Lions, but since then they are 7-1. They've been really, really good, especially clutch down the stretch in games. Caleb has 5 game-winning drives already this year. That's the most by any Bears quarterback since 1970. I think he might need another one in this game because this Pittsburgh defense, I think, will be ready to play. I think Mike Tomlin plays well against younger quarterbacks. I'm really curious to see how Ben Johnson is prepared for this game. But we're getting into the colder months of the year. This temperature, it's only 53 degrees, and so it won't affect them as much. But we're getting to the point where do we start wondering how this offense will do when it gets cold? Can they throw the ball as well as they want to? With that happening, though, they've been excellent on the ground. Kyle Monangai and DeAndre Swift have had amazing weeks the past 4 or 5 weeks. And that, I think, is really the kind of the key into this game is how well does Chicago run the ball and limit the amount of chances Mason Rudolph or Aaron Rodgers get offensively. Because you limit the amount of chances they get, you would guess Mason Rudolph scores on 20% of his drives would be your guess probably against this Bears defense. Now, last week he scored on a lot of his drives, but he was playing the Bengals defense. And so there's
It's a little easier.
Much easier to do that. New York Jets scored a ton of points on them with Justin Fields as their quarterback. So you need to limit drives in this game, I think, if you're Chicago, because I think your offense will put out more points on a limited amount of drives compared to Pittsburgh. And I think that, for me, is kind of the key to this one. But this feels like such a must-win for Chicago to keep that steam going forward. And then you look at the next 2 weeks. They're at Philly, and they're at the Green Bay Packers after the bye week. It's just actually, I lied. They get a mini-bye. They play on Thursday. But that's 2 critical road games against teams that you'll more than likely be facing the postseason. And that they still have to play the Packers and Lions again. Must win for Chicago, if you ask me. All the pressure's on them. How do you guys feel?
I think it sucks for the Steelers. We talked about this a little bit on Tuesday's show about how not unfortunate, I'm sure they love being in the lead in the division right now, but how, as a Steelers fan, you might want to see Will Howard in this situation when your starter goes down. Aaron Rodgers has already made it pretty clear that this is the last year of his career, talking about how he wants to be able to help out the younger guys. And so as a Steelers fan, I wonder if you're thinking, well, what do we have in Will Howard? Would love to see him play because he's not the kind of guy who you want to go into the offseason, Rodgers retire, and then not draft a quarterback and he just be your Patrick Mahomes or your Jordan Love. That's not who Will Howard is. He was a 6th-round draft pick or something. And so
Fifth round, if I'm
fifth
not
round.
mistaken.
Okay. It's unfortunate for the Steelers that they are in this position. I'm sure they're very happy to be there, but that your quarterback does go down kind of at this important time of the season. I think we're beyond halfway, so it's kind of downhill from here. We've peaked, and we've got to now all the teams that are going to make the playoffs, to make it, you got to finish strong. You've got to win these tough games against other playoff teams like the Bears. So I'll be interested to see how that plays out. If Rudolph plays poorly, is there a chance that we see Howard anyway? I don't know how poorly Rudolph would have to play as a backup, but I think he's had some stinkers in his time at Pittsburgh. So how badly would that have to go for us to see Will Howard? Even if it's like you're losing like 28-10 or 21-3, 21-7, do you maybe see him in the fourth quarter or second half? Just because you feel like Mason Rudolph's not going to lead the comeback. So let's just see how Howard looks against the NFL defense.
I don't know. We'll see. Last week he was 12 for 16. He scored on all 3 of his drives.
Yeah.
Against Cincy. He was really efficient last week. That probably gives him a longer leash this week as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's a game they really feel like they need to win, even with Rodgers being out.
On the road, too, do you want to throw Will Howard out there for his first snaps against Chicago?
Sure. I agree. It feels more must-win for the Bears. The easier stretch of your schedule is behind you. You really only play one bad team left, and by bad, I mean a team that is not fighting for a playoff spot, and that's the Browns. So you want to win this one because you're 7-3. That's fantastic. But I believe your point differential is negative. You're -6 in point differential on the season. So this could turn south real fast on the backstretch of the season. And so the more wins you can stack now, take advantage of someone whose QB is hurt. Like it's just not a game you want to drop. Because then I think you play the Packers next week, so you lose that one. All of a sudden you're 7-5. That negative point differential. You're gonna find me on this podcast talking about them like I do the Broncos. So,
yep.
Ready to pick this game?
Let's do it. We got Bears -2.5. I am in first place in the NFL.
Not for long.
So I will go first, and I will.
Did I go 0 for 3 last week?
No,
1 for 2.
1 and 2.
Dude,
1 and 2.
I'm consistent 1 for 2 shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna lie. Except for the leagues I go 0
It's
3.
about half and half.
Have I gone above 500 a single week?
1 week.
1 week.
Dude,
Week
week
6
6 was my week, man.
You have gone above 500 one time. I will pick Chicago. I will trust that. I mean, I'll trust the starting quarterback at home a lot more often than I'll trust a backup quarterback on the road.
I would like to make my pick contingent on who starts at quarterback.
Fair.
If Rodgers starts, give me Rodgers. If he doesn't start, give me Chicago to cover 2.5.
Well, the spread will change if he starts.
Will our spread change? If he's right now, we're assuming Mason Rudolph is starting. Okay, so if we want to repick the spread, I will be picking Pittsburgh regardless of whatever the spread is.
I'm also I'm in the same boat as him because I literally just called him Papa Rodgers earlier.
Yeah. But so what do you think the spread would move to? Do you?
I think they could go let Aaron Rodgers throw with his left hand and he somehow wins this game.
A pick 'em.
It'd be a pick 'em. So like Steelers minus
I
half.
don't think Rodgers is worth 2.5. Maybe it's 1.5. It moves at a point.
I think I would take the Steelers. That's not a whole lot. That's crazy. So you are gonna pick the Bears.
We're all picking the Bears right now.
Look, power ranking wise, I have the Steelers ranked based off Rodgers playing.
Right.
And I still am favoring the Bears, but I'm picking Rodgers in this matchup.
So you're picking against the pyramid?
Correct.
The pyramid has got you so many good best bets though, JP.
I'm pretty sure this isn't. Yeah, this isn't a best bet for me this week.
That's good because it'd be bad if it was and you picked against it.
I thought for a second Washington was on your best bets.
No,
and
they're in the graveyard, so
Yeah,
I
we don't
have
bet
not
graveyard
figured
teams.
out.
True.
I spent 8 or so hours this past week trying to figure out how to calculate graveyard teams.
Well,
and it hasn't worked.
Maybe it's something to do with how long they've been dead.
I haven't gotten that far yet.
Okay.
Right now I've just put a value on them.
In 10 days, my Commanders play the Broncos, and that will be our one remaining win of the season.
You
Wow.
hope. Okay, so we're all picking Chicago,
pray.
and then
Assuming Mason Rudolph starts.
if Aaron Rodgers
We'll circle back around
does
and repick.
his crazy medicine,
It's a broken left wrist, so if he feels like he can protect the football, then he'll play. And it sounds like he wants to play really bad. So I won't be surprised if he plays this weekend.